All right, everybody, back in Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy. So glad you're with us. And I don't know about Billy, but man, I'm feeling great in my Tommy Johns right now, Billy.
I got a story.
You do?
I have a story.
I want to hear it.
I went up to, I knew I was going to walk a whole bunch of steps, right?
Yes.
And so you're getting sweaty out there and you're walking a whole bunch of steps this past weekend at Pebble Beach and Poppy Hills. And I got up there and I forgot my Tommy Johns.
Oh, my gosh.
So I called,
dude.
I texted you.
Yes, you did.
And asked you, do you know where they sell these things? And so, and Josie was up looking too.
And I knew Macy's, but the problem with Macy's is I didn't know if there was a Macy's around.
There was a great one right there at the Del Monte Mall, but they didn't have them. You can get Macy's online if you wanted to buy them online, Macy's, but they didn't have them. So we looked at Men's Warehouse, the Tux rental places.
Yes.
They actually had a rack of them, and which was right next to the Macy's. So we went in the store and everybody was there looking for getting your tuxes for weddings, and it wasn't a big store. It was more of the Tux rental place. Men's Wear, I think it was called Men's Warehouse. It was. So but we looked around, couldn't find them. We're thinking, oh, bummer. So we asked, and they had a little tiny rack in the corner, and actually they had a pair. So I got a couple, and I wore them both days. No creeping.
And this is coming from a guy who you don't usually put support in that area.
I definitely not. But
you don't usually indulge.
I'm usually just kind of freewheeling out there.
Yes, you are.
So I didn't want a commando on walking that many steps out there and up and down hill.
That can be really hard on you.
It can be. So I wanted to say, Josie even asked me after the turn, how them Tommy Johns doing?
Nice.
So I said they're awesome. So I'm very, very happy with my purchase.
Wow, that is amazing.
They had all their machines were down at that mall. The computers were down, so we had to pay cash only, which is okay because I had some cash. But if I didn't, I wouldn't have been able to buy them.
Right.
So and the guys in there with the tuxes, we rent the tuxes. Oh, they were trying to figure out how they're going to go get money from the bank. Because they had to get cash. They couldn't. But anyways, it wasn't my issue. Where are my Tommy Johns, man? So,
exactly.
So, dude, I went out, and I'm telling you, now I have 4 pair.
Nice.
And I wish I was wearing them today. I'm not, but I want to thank you for turning me on. And they give 3 Fs.
They do.
Yeah.
The 3 Fs are fabric, fit, and function. And like Billy said, no wedgie guarantee.
Guaranteed.
Comfortable stay put waistband, which I got to tell you, when I was at the Giants game, because doing a lot of sitting. You know, for me, like having nothing where driving, we drove 3 hours, 3.5 hours to get to the game. Sat at the game was 3.5 hours. And I did wear my Tommy Johns, and they were so comfortable, man. It was awesome.
You got to get used to the porthole. There's there's
a little.
You have to get used to that. What I would call that thing.
You put walnuts in there, Bill.
Because it's an interesting little pocket thing there.
But it's cool.
But it's awesome. But you need to see if you don't have practice. It's something. It's something you need to practice with.
Well, our call to action, you guys need to go to TommyJohn.com/golf talk right now for 20% off your first order. That's TommyJohn.com/golf talk and receive 20% off your first order of Tommy John. Do it now. We got Shimano calling. Here we go. See if I can pull him.
I thought you said not. Hello. Welcome to Golf Talk Radio with Mike and Billy.
Good morning, Mike and Billy.
Hello, David.
How's it going?
Good morning, Dave.
I'm doing well. How's everybody today?
Good.
Really good, thank you.
Glad to hear it.
And you?
A little bit frazzled, but I'm doing okay. We had to put Mom in the hospital last night, and it's been a long few days, but we're okay.
Well, very sorry, and prayers and thoughts coming this way to you.
Yeah.
And your family.
She fell down and broke her collarbone and ribs and the hip, and
Oh, my gosh.
she got busted up pretty good, but she's going to be okay. She's going to have a miserable few weeks.
Wow.
Well, there's a little downer put on the show.
Yeah.
Mike, all of a sudden you're looking better.
That she's going to be okay.
Yes, it is good. She's going to be
there you go.
6 weeks. It's good. I feel for her, and we wish her speedy recovery.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you.
So what's up, man? Talk to us.
Not much. God, I've been looking for all kinds of legal forms and stuff for the hospital. Here's a good advice for listeners. When you have stuff that is important, keep it in a place where you know to get your hands on it.
And that's great advice. Be prepared for something like that so you have a file, right?
I had the file, but it was either in the safe or in my file cabinet or under my desk or behind it.
You need a file to where you put your files.
Yeah, that's actually really important.
But
So,
that's a good idea for everybody. Keep your stuff available.
So Mike was sharing, and before we will talk about Ryder Cup, but Mike was sharing that he sent you a picture of a gentleman whose driver had busted. I don't know the details, but Mike's been over there working on the board, so he's back in. I'll let him handle this. But I know you have some answers and some suggestions, I believe. So go, Mike, all yours, bud. Welcome.
Yeah, so I'll give the backstory on this. So a gentleman came up to Paso Golf Club. He's Epic Callaway and driver, and he had extra stiff shaft, rogue shaft. You know, it's very unique. And I said, hey, you can use this and borrow it and do all that. So long story short, this is like a year ago. He takes it, goes and plays with it, and I don't see him for like 2 weeks. So I had told him that I would charge his card if he didn't bring back the clubs, you know, because they're brand spanking new demos. And normally we wouldn't do this, but I'm trying to be customer service oriented and all that stuff. So then he shows up, Bill, on Tuesday. He shows up in the middle of the first tee program. I got kids running all over the place, and he shows up with his driver, the Epic driver.
Mike! Hey, Mike!
And it looks like a jack-o'-lantern. I mean, it's literally, it's so beat up and split open, and he says, oh, I just, I just pounded balls with this thing, and it broke.
Pounded what?
Balls.
Well, what kind of balls? Were they like
bowling balls?
Pool balls or bowling
I don't
balls?
know, but I thought
Can I see the picture, Mike?
I texted it to you and
thanks.
Nikki. I wanted to ask Dave because I mean this guy's he's seen a lot of things, and
that looks like my neck.
Yeah, and it's split like probably a half an inch from the crown back.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, that's where the seam is for those two pieces, isn't it, Dave?
I don't know. And then it curls around the side. And so I'm sitting there, again, I'm going to, customer service, I'm going to help them out. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, this just looks like it's blatant.
Well,
I
sign him up for anger management classes as well as take care of his club.
So I was wondering, Dave, and I, being that you've been in the club industry so long and you've probably seen a lot of drivers that have been this face is not caved in on this thing. The crown's cracked. So what could cause that? And like Billy said, I was wondering as well, and he took the question right out of my mouth.
I'm sorry,
it's perfect. Is that the seam, of the driver? And for the people listening, I will post this on our social media because it's an interesting. I've never seen a driver break like this.
Well, that's one of two things where that is, and I didn't look at it that carefully, except I saw it was ugly. But that head has a carbon crown, which there is a seam between the carbon and the titanium in there somewhere, and sometimes you'll get a split there just because seams are always weaker.
Yeah.
Or it could be a weld because Callaway has cup faces where the weld isn't actually on the face; it's on the side of the club, and supposedly that gives you a little more forgiveness to the face, but. It's probably one of those two, and it could be abuse. That thing looked like it had seen better days besides the crack, that's for sure. But, nowadays they're making the head so dang big and so light. That's why they go to titanium and carbons and all kinds of weird, real light and strong materials like that. But, any flaw at all, and they're going to break.
Yeah.
And breakage used to be, Mike, you've been around forever. When those things first came out, breakage was really kind of common.
Yeah. What's the most common break you've seen? Like where drivers, like for drivers,
that one, right on the top of the crown and the face, that area right in there. In the older days, that was probably the most common because there was a weld there.
Face collapsion was when they first came out with those type.
I
of
remember
clubs.
like
the
when
faces would all. They're poorly
in fact,
made.
I got a good story about that. When titanium drivers were first coming out, John Rogers, good friend of mine, he invented the baffler when it first came out. And he was working with Nicholas one time. And they were hitting balls before launch monitors or anything like that. And they were hitting a ball and watching ball flight and trying this and hit another ball. And they hit one, and Jack said, I didn't see it. John said, I didn't either. Oh, well, no big deal. Let's hit another one. And so he tees up another one and starts to waggle his club a little bit. And Jack goes, found it. And he goes, what? he held the club up, and it had a hole in the face just the size of a golf ball. And it had gone inside the head.
The ball went in the head? Oh, my God.
That's awesome. I want that club.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, that club's probably worth a bundle.
Absolutely. That's yeah. We got to fix this face. This face needs to be a little stronger here.
But he's told me that story, oh, my goodness, probably 20 times. And he says, oh, you probably heard this before. I go, yes, but I want to hear it again. That is a classic story.
Wow.
So you would think, Dave, and stop me if I'm wrong, and Mike, that the companies, because of the sensitive of this huge designs and the light metals and everything, that they're prone to break, as you said, so they take care of it. I mean, that's just one of the things they do. If they explode, the company gives the customer another one. I mean, is that right?
Most of the time, yeah. They usually give 1 or 2 year warranty on them. And
they always break right after the day after the warranty.
Yeah, 2 years,
like
one
transmissions.
Well, yeah.
That's one reason that SMT drivers were always so popular and especially in long drive, because they had a lifetime warranty behind them.
And those
there
guys,
was no other club on the planet like that.
And those guys bust clubs all the time.
Oh, boy, do they ever. They bust shafts, actually,
I
more
know.
than heads.
You see the one break over the guy's back and fly into the crowd?
Oh, I didn't see it, but yeah, I've seen it happen a few times.
On his
the recoil
follow-through.
off the back, bam!
Crack. Did you see that, Mike?
On his follow-through,
On his follow-through, the club wrapped around his body, hit his back, they broke, and then the club went flinging off into the... You had to see it in slow-mo to appreciate it.
That's really scary. When I went to the Giants game on Friday night, they've extended the nets. The backstop net.
Did you get a net,
Mac? It's all the way down. Like we were at the edge of the third base dugout, about 20 rows back, and the net extends all the way out past to the warm-up pitcher's mound.
Well, good.
On both sides.
Did you get any balls in the net near you?
There was nothing near us.
Nothing.
Well, you got balls, and also broken bats can go flying out there too. So I heard about that. And does it take away from the game at all?
It wasn't. At first, when we sat down, I actually didn't even notice it, and all of a sudden, like out of the blue, I noticed it. And I was like, "Oh, that's
so it doesn't mess with the vision very much."
No,
that's cool.
No,
because I tell you what, that saves lives.
Yeah,
they've proven that.
Yeah, it had.
There hospital visits.
Yeah, really.
There were quite a few balls that hit the net. Like I couldn't even imagine being in a long drive. If you got a shaft coming at you,
oh my gosh, it's like a javelin.
Yeah, I know.
Found it.
Yeah.
I got it over here.
Oh my God.
Can I keep it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you better keep it.
It's a little short.
Yeah.
And bloody.
The head's still in good shape.
Oh my gosh, that is too funny, man.
That's like when people line where the player is off in the crap somewhere, and they line this, area where they think the ball's going to go, and it's coming out of some junk.
And
They're crazy.
They're right next to these guys.
I know, they're leaning and looking.
Full swing, 4 irons coming out. This guy's 2 feet from them going.
I've never understood that. I've never understood that.
I cannot
and you
stand
also
to watch
think
that.
about the shot that got him there.
Yeah.
It wasn't too swift.
Exactly.
Yeah, really.
Now they're expecting a miracle coming out.
And it could hit a root. I mean, anything.
Oh my gosh.
But you sign your life away when you go to them tournaments, man.
I mean-
So, David, to that effect in that club, I have seen often that you see a slight crack starting. Some of the junior players I've worked with, and even adults, and it's just you can see there's just this blemish kind of on the seam. It's starting. Does that ruin the club, or do you have to wait for failure?
That's a good question. I've seen guys play with a little hairline crack for 6 months, and seemingly doesn't make any difference. And I've also had guys with a little hairline crack, and they say the sound is different. And
mentally, it's mentally,
and it can be mental too.
Yeah,
so,
you're thinking, God, yeah.
But they do grow. So if you get a crack in your club, try to beat the warranty and take it to wherever you bought it.
It's like a windshield, man.
Yeah,
right?
It's exactly like a windshield.
Really,
it takes a heck of a lot more stress.
You should have a little cart, and you go follow people around to get a crack in the car. Boom! You zip on over. Right? What's that commercial? Those people are great, man.
I know. Safe Light.
Safe Light.
And see you later.
Drive light repair, Dave.
Company.
Drive light repair.
We're all ready for you, Dave.
I love it. I love it, man.
And Mike, you asked another question about how long does a face last, and pretty much forever. I've seen 2 studies, both done with long drive guys, and they were almost identical. That after 25,000 hits for guys that are flying at over 300 yards, they lose about 1%.
So it never really truly wears out.
But my face
No.
does.
So, if you're hitting
Look
at
at this.
300 yards, you lose 3 yards after 25,000 strikes.
25,000
I don't
strikes.
know how many people hit their driver 25,000 times.
I'm coming up on that.
Yeah, Nikki does.
Well, when I went and saw
That's
Mom
right.
last night, there was a guy in the hospital. I said, "What are you in for?" He said, "Well, I hit the ball 25,000 times, and I hurt."
Jeez.
That's funny.
I made that up.
I know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all right. It was a good try.
Driver replace, driver repair. I'm going to come up with a song.
We got to come up with a song.
Drive light replace, drive light repair. We're going to fix it.
That's true. Yeah, when I saw it going back to that
Driver
epic
replace.
driver, I just looking at the side of it, which you can't see in the picture, I think what happened is that, whether the guy did it on purpose or not.
It's a compression, right? Boom.
Well, I think he dropped the bag, his
Oh.
bag on the side, and you know how the driver's got the bulge on the outside, and I think that was hitting the ground over and over and over. I don't think he has a head cover for it.
Do you think his bag falls like
It didn't look
Tim
like it
Lane?
had been taken good care of as far as a head cover and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I mean, it just
that could be.
the edge of it just looks like the right edge of it. If you're looking down at the driver, just looks like it's been smashed into the ground several times.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
Maybe he has an anger problem.
It's very
And
possible.
I do give anger management classes every Tuesday and Thursday at 3
Well,
o'clock.
you got a new student, Dave. I'm gonna sign him up.
It's anonymous. I can
another
attest
thing
to
is
that.
the face, the score lines in the face. Some companies don't even put score lines on the face, and if you really check them out, and Titleist finally ended up doing it this year because of breakage. The score lines are actually just laser etched. They're not really a deep score line anymore because all that does is weaken the face too.
Because
Right.
you mentioned that to me when I got your SMT driver, it didn't have lines. And I'm thinking, well, that's got to stop spin or just blah, blah, blah. And you're like, Billy, that doesn't do it. They don't do anything.
That's so funny.
No, they really don't.
I know.
And,
I'm thinking, I'm not
if you
spinning
take
it
a driver
anymore.
from years and years ago and run your fingernails across it, you'll feel them catch. And you take a modern day driver and do the same thing, and they just roll right over because they're just laser edge.
It's more
lines.
decal
They're
then,
for
right?
cosmetics
Yeah,
more than anything else. Yeah.
That's so cool. See, that's good to know.
That's
I
awesome.
loved Revy, man. Revy is my driver. And
That
that
was your baby.
That was the best driver. And
Revy?
yeah, well, Revlon, Maybelline. So I asked Dave, I hit this lady's left-handed driver. I said, I like the shorter length. So I told Dave I want, the lady's length shaft. And so he made a powder blue shaft and a fingernail polished red bed.
Yeah, it was
So
sweet.
it was the sweetest little.
It was.
Mike called it Maybelline,
Yeah.
and the kids called it Revlon.
So funny.
Yeah. Beautiful driver.
It looked like it was beautiful.
And you called it money.
I called it money. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that driver. Should bring that puppy back out.
You never hit a driver so
That driver
so
rocks.
perfect every time, dude. You got to go back to that. Hey, Dave, we got to roll, but throw your contact info out there. You got any specials going on right now with Slick Sticks?
Still have the Super Stroke Ryder Cup putter grips available. If anybody's looking for them, boy, the United States had a hard time, didn't they?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you have the European
I would
one?
have liked to have been in on that conversation, but we had a time.
Nicky and I want to know if you have European ones left.
I've got one without ordering them.
There you go.
That's
There you go,
surprising.
Nicky.
For any traders around that would like one, I would happily give them one.
That's fun.
Thank you, Dave.
That's actually cool.
Hey,
He's,
guys, have a great
you
week.
too,
You too, man.
Dave.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dave.
he's
Thanks for the
Dave.
box,
Always an
Dave.
honor. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. See
Hey,
ya.
I have an idea, guys. I think you're taking a break, right?
Yeah.
When we come back, instead of going off on rants, we should say our do's and don'ts, or what we thought was the successes and or failures, if you will, with the Ryder Cup, and just kind of bullet point them. And do you think that's fair? I mean, what?
Yeah.
And then you remember when they lost 4 years ago over there? You and I came up with a whole sheet of how they should fix it.
Yes.
We sent it to the committee, which there is no longer committee, you can tell.
Right.
And we won over here.
Yes.
So they stopped the committee. They went over there and got thumped. So
Right.
I think it's time that you and I are going to have to help this team out again, and we'll get our list back together and send it
I
to
agree.
the PGA of America, and say again, Golf Talk Radio is here to rescue your team for 4 years from now.
I agree.
They're going to be in Italy.
I like it.
I'm sure you'll be there the week before.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll have to plan that.
There
Yes,
you go. Yes, you will.
You're still jet lagged. When did you get home?
Oh, my gosh.
Take us
Yeah,
out.
believe me.
Take us out, Mike.
That's right. Okay, Dave Schimantel, thank you for sponsoring Golf Talk Radio with SlickSticks.com, your key to better golf for clubs, grips, repairs, adjusting loft and lies, you name it. Dave Schimantel Slick Sticks, the winning combination. Call him at 805-598-9993. We'll be right back. Stay with us.